Hi, I'm Rob.
And I'm Angie.
And together we are TwinFinity.
Hello, we are back with another question answer video. This comes to you on the very last day of February. It's like no pressure at all. We're cutting it to the wire. I was like, we have to do it tonight because I'm not putting this out in March. It has to be tonight. So it has to get uploaded tonight too.
Yeah, that's
No pressure.
that means Angie might be staying up a little bit late tonight.
It's okay. It's okay.
But of course, the last day of February also sneaks up on a person because, you go charging past the 21st of February. You think you got 10 days left. Not how that works.
February. Yes. Rob's favorite month.
2 weeks ago was Valentine's Day.
Yes, it was.
Poof, end of a month.
Yes. So before we get started with questions, it is my turn to tell our little story that we have started telling at the beginning of our videos. And Rob doesn't know what story I'm going to share because we haven't discussed this at all.
I'm slightly nervous, but that's okay. I think I blindsided you last month.
I mean, that's okay. And he was already wearing a shirt, and I decided I had to go switch my shirt because it fit with the story, all the matching bits. So if you watched last month's question and answer video, Rob's story was sharing about how he's been kind enough to give me Wednesdays off ever since the pandemic started a couple of years ago, and he was no longer playing badminton on Wednesday nights where I used to get my night alone. I started asking for Wednesday nights off even if he was home, and he was kind enough to give that to me.
That means I just
Entertain
don't bother.
himself.
I just don't bother her on Wednesday nights.
That's right.
Much.
Yeah, I get to watch a movie or do whatever I want. So what Rob has started doing on his Wednesday nights is playing a board game. Funny enough, maybe not funny enough. We started playing this game before the pandemic, and we being Rob especially, has become quite addicted to this game.
Obsessed.
Yes. Within the pandemic. And funny enough, the game is actually called Pandemic. So, a couple of weeks ago, I was cleaning out some of my stuff and decided I was going to get rid of some angels. And there was an angel in the pile that Rob was like, you can't get rid of that. I really like that one. So it just stayed on the kitchen table and ended up being the angel that would guard his game every night. And it just became this cute thing that I thought was just really funny, that Rob's playing with one of my angels.
Yeah, I put the angel out beside the board at a relatively strategic spot, and the angel watches over my game.
And so what became even neater is this past Friday evening, just a couple of days ago, we were out shopping at our favorite thrift store, and Rob happened to see the blue version, the exact same version of this angel, but in blue. The one I have is pink. So, of course, we had to buy it. So now we have a matching set of angels. There.
Yeah.
There. And they match our clothes, which is even funnier. We're blue and pink people, and here's our little angels.
Blue
and
and
they even
pink.
have little hearts on them.
Yeah, they're holding hearts.
Yeah. So now we have our twin flame angels to go with our twin flame life. And both of the angels now get to guard Rob's Wednesday night games. It's very cute. And I've taken pictures. Maybe I'll have to post them sometime. So that's our little fun story of the month.
Yep, the angel that was gonna the pink angel that was on the chopping block was about to be relegated to going away.
Yeah, Rob saved her.
And then the blue one comes along. Sometimes you just can't make this stuff up.
No, and we weren't even looking. This was a thrift store where you just get what you get. It's not like we're at a store. And I got this actually years ago from a Reiki client. So they're not even a common thing anymore.
They were just a run of stuff that showed up maybe in dollar stores.
Yeah, it was a dollar store.
Dollar store thing, and now we got one of each.
Yes, we do.
Matching pink
Our twin
and
flame
blue.
angels.
Guardians of the game.
Yeah.
I don't have a galaxy.
All right, now we'll dive into questions before it gets too strange. I always get an itchy nose when we do videos. Why is that?
Don't know.
Yeah, me neither.
Something about kissing a fool.
Yeah, must be.
We better get into questions.
Yes, we better.
Okay. Starting from right after where we left off before, right below the big blue
Right
line.
below the line, yes.
And it could have been a pink line, and it would have
could've.
still counted just the same. Yes, we have blue and pink pens. Usually use them for signing
Just go to the
cards. Birthday cards, Christmas cards, thank you cards,
We
anniversary
genuinely
cards.
are blue and pink people. It's each of our favorite color. We don't just wear these to be, I don't know, trendy, twin flamey weirdos.
Maybe
We
next
just are weirdos.
maybe next video we'll wear our second favorite colors each.
Red and purple? What's your second favorite color?
Orange.
Oh! No, I can't do a video with you in orange. Can't do it. No, orange and purple don't go together.
Keep an eye open
No.
for orange. It might happen. There might be orange.
No. Okay, can we go to the questions, please? Don't torture me with orange. If you're an orange lover, I'm glad. It's just not a favorite color of mine.
No, it's mine.
It's offensive.
I'd never paint a fence orange.
Really? Is this how the night's gonna go?
It's how the night's gonna go.
Great. Good luck. I'm leaving. You guys are all stuck with him by yourselves. You and the angels can hang out together. Okay, shall I read the question?
Okay, I'll read the question. Since my twin flame almost completely blocked me 1 year ago, I have felt very little to almost non-existent telepathy with him. Prior to that, I felt our connection every day for 3 years. I'm wondering what to do. I wish to feel it again, but it's so quiet now, I could hear a pin drop, so to speak.
What I find interesting is the very first question on our last video a month ago was somebody that had so much telepathy and was saying, I want to shut it off. And now this person's saying, I want it back. Here's my experience with telepathy is you need to allow it to be what it is. When it goes quiet, it's for a reason, and when it's there and it's loud and it's all over the place, it's for a reason. We've shared in our story videos, and I can't even remember which one to go find it. If I find it, I'll link it, but it might be too hard to do tonight. But anyway, when Rob and I were coming into energetic union before we came into physical union, there was huge amounts of telepathy. And then all of a sudden it just stopped. And that's how I knew I wasn't making it up, because I couldn't control it. It happened when it happened, and it didn't happen when it didn't happen. And when it stopped happening, I was just like, where did it go? And then it came back a week later, and Rob actually said, I'm sorry I was so quiet. I was actually away. He was explaining that he was on his own home planet getting DNA upgrades to be ready for our union. So he was quiet because energetically he was away. So whether that's the case for your twin or not, something is going on with them, either physically or energetically, that they need that 5D quiet space. So just honor that, allow that. Don't force it to be telepathic when it's not, and just welcome it when it comes back. But in the time while it's gone, just do your own, and I know everybody hates it when you say do your own inner work. And it's not that I just mean that, but do your own practice with your own telepathy. Connect with yourself. Connect with your own higher self. And start speaking with yourself on a higher level. And you can even ask, where's my twin? And you might get some sort of an answer like I got, or you might get something else. You might understand why they're quiet right now to help you allow them that space. So that's my advice. I'm sure you have your own 3D wisdom.
I I really like Angie's answer, but I'm going to give a different perspective.
I love that. I like your answer. But no, I'm just kidding.
No, I really, if I hadn't have had a thought or a feeling come to me, I was almost beat on this question because Angie had such a good answer as far as what I was listening to. I quite thought it was excellent. But wow, I'm really out of it tonight. There's such a thing that's called manifesting. And sometimes when you're manifesting, you have to set your expectations of what's going to happen aside and focus on what you want. If your twin flame has blocked you, you may have actually convinced yourself that you can no longer hear the telepathy because you expect to be blocked, and you've allowed. Is that really it? No. And you've created a situation where you can't feel anything, hear anything on all dimensions. So this could be just a case of manifested expectations.
See, I knew you'd have some good 3D insights. That's brilliant. Whether it's the case or not, who knows? But it's a good answer.
It's
good insight.
It's a thought. So
yeah.
So going back to what Angie said, it's a similar result. If you lower all your expectations on what communication there might be without focusing on being blocked at the same time, then there might be an allowance for communication to start again.
Yeah. Yeah. Good point. I like that.
Now I'm all done.
And I was just going to add, just to give you a little bit of hope, know that it's never forever. Like the 5D communication comes back at some point and in some way. So just have faith. Know that it's just part of the journey.
Okay. I had another thought, but I'm going to wait for a different question that goes towards that other thought, and hopefully I can remember it at that time. Okay. Next question?
Yeah.
Whoa, how about this? Have you both ever had the same dream at the same time? Angie wrote a little note beside this. I don't get the note.
You don't?
I don't quite remember.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so I guess I'm going to get an answer too. How do I know that well, actually, hold it. There's a couple of questions buried all in this one question. Should we stop right there?
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's answer that one first.
Okay. So have you both ever had the same dream at the same time? She's got to answer this.
The basic answer is no. And I feel sad about that because I have heard other twin flames who are like literally in the same dream at the same time. And then you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh yeah, remember this, remember that. And I'm like, we've never had that. And I would love to. I hope that happens someday.
Would be so cool.
Yeah. But we did, and I think we've only had this once. We've had sort of similar, like sometimes where we've had a similar dream or a similar themed dream. But the only time we've had a really similar dream was a couple years ago. We both dreamt of being on a train. Do you remember now? Do you still know? No. Okay.
No.
We dreamt of being on a train.
Okay.
We weren't on the same train. At least it didn't sound like it from our dream. But because the dream was different, but we were both riding on a train. And it was specifically a train that we were both on. So I remember waking up and telling him my dream, and if it was him that had the dream all by himself, it would have made sense because he loves trains. He's probably been like a train engineer or train worker in a past life. I'm not a big fan of trains. I don't hate them, but they're not a passion of mine. I don't have my own little train. What do you call that outside in your garage?
Set?
Model rail.
Model train set.
I don't have one of those. He does. So why would I dream of being on a train? It's not something I would normally dream. But it was really cool, and I'm sad that you don't remember that. Oh. It was a neat dream. It was neat that we both woke up in the morning and talked about riding on a train. But other than that, no. I wish. I want to. I hope someday.
That would be an absolute blast if we had concurrent dreams.
Yeah. And then we can wake up in the morning and go, hey, remember when you did this and you said that? And you'd be like, yeah. That sounds so much fun. Totally want to do it.
Or knowing me with the majority of my dreams, I'd go, no, I don't remember the specifics.
I'm a very detailed dreamer. I remember like sounds and words, and I'm very, like I am in my 3D state, I'm like very, not necessarily clairvoyant in dreams, but I see color. Apparently a lot of people don't dream in color. I totally dream in color.
I
remember
do too.
The sounds. I remember like very, very vivid dreamer.
I don't tend to remember a ton of details, although I sometimes can. I tend to have very long dreams that go from chapter to chapter to chapter to chapter. I have like 8 different segments of the same dream. It just keeps on going and going.
Yeah, because he'll wake up in the morning and tell me about it, and as he's telling me about it, I fall back to sleep.
Yeah,
it's so long.
Blah 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 blah. All of a sudden, I feel this slump beside me. I'm like, oh, knocked her out.
Sorry.
At what point of my dream did you go to sleep?
Yeah. Okay, so what was the next part of that question?
How do I know what my twin flame blueprint is?
Oh, yes. I knew that was going to make you go, what?
I'll keep reading. Whether it is romantic, friendly, mentor, apprentice type, I always have been very romantic, and the connection has been full of incredible sparks for the whole time. But I don't want to have any expectation towards it being a sexual physical union if it's meant to be a friendly one. I would like it to be closer. I feel the pull, and the idea of us never making it makes me feel like I failed at life somehow. It makes me want to die. But I try my best to stay optimistic and in high vibration. Oh. Wow. Full of incredible sparks the whole time. I don't want to have any expectation. Yeah, okay. Let's go back to that first bit. Twin flame blueprint. Help.
Well, they kind of say it right there.
Yeah.
Is it like
Romantic, friendly, mentor, apprentice type.
Yeah. Because some people believe that you can be a twin flame with like a brother or a sister or I've heard pet even. And I'm not here to argue everybody's experience is everybody's experience. I think though you know your blueprint, and I'm sorry, but you know what I'm going to say, it's from within. Because it's your blueprint. You wrote it. You and the other whole of your soul wrote it. So it's not for anybody else to tell you what it is. When you go in, you will feel that. Does it feel like it's romantic? Most of us, again, just in my opinion, my experience, most of us have come here to be in a, or not necessarily to be in a, but have chosen the romantic blueprint of the twin flame journey. If there's others, you know, some people say, like I said, that it's a friend or a whatever other experience. Your parent can be a twin flame, some people say. I can't really comment. That's not my journey, but if it is for other people, that's their journey. So feel into it. You will know. It's not like a logical answer. It's a feeling. It's a deep knowing.
Keep going, you're doing fine.
Oh, I was waiting for you. You usually have something to interject by this point. I don't know if I have anything more. It's truly, it's a knowing. It's not a logical, okay, well, because we have this, or because we've experienced that, or because I feel this, or I know that. It's a deep-seated soul knowing, because it's a soul connection that you have.
I'm going to speak some words, and all I'm going to probably do is either muddy the waters or get myself in trouble.
Good, this will be fun.
Of the romantic, friendly, or mentor apprenticeship type, I was thinking, the romantic and friendly, I suppose you could, the friendly style of twin flames where you're just friends, okay, great. The romantic is very romantic. But what if you've got a blend of the friendly and romantic? What if you're quite romantic and also awesome friends? So, in other words, if you both are not in romantic mode because life has thrown you a twist, you're still very, very close friends. As an example, it's almost like that there's a blending of those two types that would almost be another subtype of its own. Where, because some people can be very romantic, but they don't have much of a friendship, or some people can be very friendshipy, but in their relationship with their other whole, but they're just barely romantic. So, yeah, I think we're a combination
We're all
of.
just looking at each other. Okay, what else? But you got something else? I don't got anything.
I look at Angie and I see strong romantic, strong friendly. So, if that actually exists as its own little brand, that's what I like to think.
Okay.
Yay.
You
But
can
at the
make up whatever brand you wish. Was there another piece to that question?
I think that there was just more
Or was that
description.
it? Okay.
About the expectations toward being a sexual physical union, if it's meant to be a friendly one. So the person who wrote the question doesn't want to try to direct where the relationship would actually be. Trying to leave it alone to become what maybe it's meant to become. That's probably pretty wise.
See, in my opinion, if you want it to be romantic, then I would say that is your blueprint. Because the universe isn't going to give you a desire without the ability for it to come to fruition. If it was just a friendly, non-romantic connection, then you wouldn't feel any romantic feelings. I mean, I think we've probably all known, I was going to say male and female, but it doesn't have to be, masculine and feminine energies that are friends and friends only, and they have no romantic tendencies towards each other. So if that was the case, you could have like a deep love for each other on a friendship level. But if you're desiring more, I would say that is your indication that that's your blueprint.
I have a problem.
You're going to sneeze.
I'm going to sneeze.
And when Rob sneezes, it ain't just one. It's like 15 and you're like...
I'm going to try to just get through this. See if I can struggle through without having to sneeze. This is kind of like being in the quiet spot of a concert where they're just getting ready to do something, all of a sudden someone bellers out a nachu. You just don't want to do that. Oh, was there anything else in that question?
I just wanted to read this last
sentence?
Well, it just kind of is saying your videos simultaneously give me hope and make me wonder what kind of union is supposed to be there in my path. And again, I'll just reiterate what I said is, first of all, allow your union to just be what it is. And I know our brains all get muddied in the whole thing, and I'm not making it sound like, oh, just allow it to be. I get it. We're logical beings too. We're feelers, but we're also knowers. But if you can just be in the journey rather than trying to analyze the journey, it's easier. And just let your union be what it's supposed to be. But as I say, if you have a desire for a romantic connection with this person, then I would say that's your indication of what kind of a, what did they call it? I already forget. Template or...
Yes. Blueprint.
Yeah. So I hope that's helpful. Now this next one is multiple questions, but they're all fairly easy to answer, I do believe.
Ah, that's the ones that we get lost on for many minutes, and
Yes.
all of a sudden we run ourselves out of time.
Yes.
But
That's because you talk too much.
that's because I can talk too much. Doesn't always happen. Okay, after a few years of separation and continuing to long for my twin, this year I fell really hard for another man. I feel deep love for this person, a love I can only compare with what I feel for my twin. I feel very clearly, undoubtedly, that I fundamentally belong with my twin. I know deep in my heart I cannot love anyone more deeply than him, yet at the moment I feel in many ways I would much rather be with this other man. I am very enthusiastic about it, and at the moment I feel more attracted to him than my twin. This whole situation is hard for me to integrate and make sense of it. It triggers new questions and dilemmas for me.
Before you read that question, I just want to say, just this little blurb itself, before even having a question,
Yes.
totally excites me, because this is so opposite from what mostly we hear on the twin flame journey. Mostly it's like, I could never be with anybody else, I could never love anybody else, and I feel like I'm betraying my twin if I dared to be with somebody else. And how many times have we said, yes, we understand, but sometimes we need other connections, we need other relationships, because they help us grow, they help us clear karma. And same thing goes for our twin. When they're with somebody else, instead of feeling jealous or upset or betrayed, if we can just know that it's part of their healing journey and their journey back to us, and this person is getting that, and I'm so excited that you can allow yourself to love somebody else. That is awesome.
I'll have to call it a belief that you can know that you have a twin, you know your twin's out there, but you're not necessarily supposed to actually have a relationship, settle down with your twin this incarnation. I believe that can be a thing.
Yeah,
I don't like to totally go out there and accept it all the time, because I always hope for better, but I've seen it just so many times that it's a strong possibility that your twin's there, but you're not meant to be with her.
Just interject, you're maybe not meant to be with them right now. Maybe it still is this incarnation, just not right now. And I'm not just saying that for this person specifically, but people in general. I mean, if you know our story, we were with other people. I was married to somebody else. He was in a 12-year relationship during our 17-year separation. We're here, we're in union, so just because you have other relationships with other people than your twin, it doesn't negate the fact that they're still your twin and there's still hope for union at some point in your journey.
I think that if you have found love and found happiness, whether it's with your twin or not, just don't turn your back on it at all, because it's not who you believe to be your twin. Enjoy your life.
Yeah.
So if you feel destined that you're going to be with somebody other than your twin, don't be afraid of what you would consider to be your destiny.
Should we answer their questions now that we?
I think we probably ran head first and probably what's going to be another question here.
Maybe.
But we'll try it. Okay, I've just gone from sneezing to having put my foot to sleep. I'm having a great time.
Oh, and by the way, we do not have a dog tonight.
Yeah,
so
no dog.
For those of you that are always looking forward to seeing Cookie, I'm sorry she's at her other mom's. Her other mom just picked her up today for a couple days, so no Cookie. Sorry. Rob's happy, though, because he can wear shorts without getting his legs all licked.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's a behind-the-scenes battle during a video. If we're sitting on the floor and I got bare legs, busy trying to herd the dog away from me.
It just made me think of that when you said your foot was going to sleep. I was like, oh yeah, your foot that isn't in socks and pants.
Pants
There's no
and
dog here.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Question. Okay, continuing on with that same thought line that we just spoke about. My guide, my joy guides me to be with this other man at this point. I would love to spend a part of my journey with him, but I still love my twin. If me and my twin are to eventually reconnect later on, can being with someone else in the meantime make me miss this chance?
Absolutely not.
Not worried about it.
You cannot miss what is meant for you. Remember, your soul has written this journey before you even came here. And if being in union is part of that, it will happen. Now, I can also preface that with sometimes one or the other of you during physical incarnation makes another choice, but then there will be a suitable alternative. So that's a whole side point I don't even want to get into. But the fact is, no, you can't, just by being with somebody else, you absolutely cannot miss the union, the journey with your twin. And again, our own situation is perfect example. Rob was in a relationship for 12 years, and he even, to my face, told me he would never leave this woman. I didn't force him to leave her. I was not a home wrecker, and it just unfolded the way it was supposed to unfold. Both of our relationships unfolded or uncoupled at the same time because it was time for our union. So when it's time, it will happen. You need not worry about missing out.
If it's meant to be, it will find a way.
Yep. You can't miss what's meant for you.
Next part of the question.
Yes.
Can someone else be a better partner than the twin? Someone you can be more happy with for a certain part of the journey?
Absolutely.
Completely.
Because sometimes, well, not sometimes, all the time on the journey, you and your twin are not at the same page, which is why you can't be in physical union, which is why there is physical separation. And I know that doesn't mean you're in separation in 5D. We're always together on an energetic level. But you need the time sometimes to be apart. And while you're apart, you're often guided, and they are often guided to be with other people for the very reason of the growth, like we said before, the karma clearing, all of the work, the lessons, the healing that happens in another relationship to then allow you to come back together when the time is right.
Other relationships can often be fantastic educators.
Yep.
I'm just not a person of many words tonight, am I?
That's shocking.
I know. It's winter time out. It's been dry air. There's lots of shocking going on.
Next question. Oh, mighty bad joker.
On keeping in touch with ex-partners, would you be okay with it? Are there cases you wouldn't be okay with it? Is there any risk of still feeling attracted to ex-partners after reuniting with your twin?
Can I just clarify first of all? I think more what they're asking is not, are we okay with it, but do we recommend it? Is it a good idea? Because it's not for us to be okay or not be okay with anything. It's your journey, right? So, but I'm assuming that's not what you're intending to ask.
Respectfulness is the word that comes into mind. If you can be respectfully in touch with your exes, previous partners, then I don't see a whole lot of troubles with it. But yeah, the 3D bits sometimes just make that too complicated. So I'm really waffling on this. I don't see any specific harm on it, but I think more of the 3D side where it's usually more complicated to stay in touch with exes than not. See, the word attracted. Is there any risk of still feeling attracted to ex-partners?
After reuniting with your twin.
If everything is still respectful, then the attraction likely will set itself aside.
Yeah, and also if that relationship has ended, it's ended for a reason. And if you're now in a relationship with your twin, you're with your twin for a reason. So I can't imagine you'd still have, I mean, sure, you might have a, maybe not the word attraction, but a connection with this other person. But there's nothing wrong with that, as long as it's not, of course, crossing any lines, like Rob says, respectful. But even just from my own circumstances, again, if you know our journey, I've dated in total 4 Robs. This is Rob number 2, and there's 3 other ones. I'm still friends with 2 of those other ones. I'm still in contact with them. Whether it's like a couple years of contact, one of them is a Facebook friend. We wish each other a happy birthday. We went to high school together, so we're still, you know, connected. He likes my Facebook posts, I like his. But there's nothing there in terms of an old relationship kind of attraction. It's just a respect because we were friends before we were in a relationship and we're still friends now. So I think there's lots of times where you can be friends with an ex if you've had, you know, a healthy journey along the way, or even if you haven't. I shouldn't say that because we didn't have a healthy journey on some parts. It was really bad, but we've worked through that. So, keeping in touch with ex-partners, are you okay with it? If it works for your connection and your then relationship, whether it's your twin flame or another relationship, absolutely. If it doesn't work, then, you know, again, it's your journey, whatever works for you. And are there cases where it wouldn't be okay? I think there's some cases where sometimes when a relationship's done, it's done and it's done and it's done, and it's like, it's time to move on from that. And again, there's no hard, fast rule of when that is. I know for me, my last relationship before Rob and I came into union, as we've shared in other videos, was narcissistic. And if you know anything about a narcissist, the best kind of connection to have afterwards is no connection, 0 contact. So I, for my own sanity and health, mental health, physical health, life safety, has been to maintain no contact. So you might find there are relationships that you want nothing, no connection with afterwards. But other ones you can be in contact with. It's entirely up to your own journey. Wow, you're extra quiet.
I certainly am.
Wow, you got no...
Well, it's because you're just nailing it tonight. Yeah.
Except for the but that I had in the beginning.
Yeah.
You had all these great things to say, but... No, just kidding. Just teasing you.
No, I'd already commented on that, so I'm good with that.
Okay.
Next portion of this.
Yeah.
Each love is unique. Yes. Each love is unique and hard to compare with others, but in another sense, there are definite differences. Having more than one true great love, how do you deal with this internally as to not feel that you betray your twin or such called karmic? Given our situation, I don't feel like it would be betraying my twin, but I do not feel it would be unfair to the such called karmic that I still love and will forever love my twin more than anyone for that matter. Just gonna run over and grab my slippers.
Okay. The thing about the human experience is that we equate love as, I can only love one person, and if I love them, I have to love them more than anybody else. And I've always thought that to be strange, because in spirit, love is love is love is love. You love some soul that you don't even know just as much as you love your greatest, best soulmate, right? Like there's no distinguishing of, I love you more. You might love them differently, But love is love. Like there's no, I was going to say there's no value. There's no, help me, you're good with the words when I'm lost.
No, you're...
He's really out of it tonight. He's like, no, I'm not helping you.
I'm lost in my own thought, unfortunately, here.
What's the... I don't know what the word is. But there... You can love more than one person at a time. There's nothing wrong with that. And though I'm not a parent, I understand because I still greatly remember being a parent in other lives. And it's also like many people that are parents say, when you have one child, your first child, and you think, my God, how could I ever love another child as much as I love this one? And then you have another child, and it's not like you love the other one less or you love the new one less. You love them equally. You might love them differently. It's not the same kind of love because it's a different connection with every child because you have a different soul connection with them. But you still love them equally. You don't love one more or less or higher or lower. It's just a different love. And I think that's maybe the way that might help your brain understand this. Is not that you love one more and one less. It's just a different kind of love because it's a different kind of connection. But it's not to say that one connection is valued more over the other. Sure, we think being with your twin flame is the be-all and end-all. And we've said this in other videos, and I hope this doesn't trigger people, but what if it isn't? What if there's more and we don't know it yet? We used to think soulmates was the greatest thing out there, and then twin flames came along.
And soulmates are still fantastic relationships.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So... again, just allow every connection to be what it is. It's in your life for a reason. You have connected with this person and they have connected with you for a reason. They're obviously part of your soul group, your soul family. You have a deep soul connection with them. And it's different from your deep soul connection with your twin flame, but it doesn't mean it has to be better or worse. It's just different. Now, I'm sorry, I've let you hold in your thought.
Yeah,
Okay.
I see the word betray or betraying my twin a couple of times in this question, and I think sometimes people worry a little too much about what they perceive their twin might feel. Unless your twin has said to you, yeah, no, I'd feel betrayed if you went into another relationship of any type. In a lot of cases, probably your twin has no idea that that you've got yourself in a position where you're considering another relationship.
Right.
So it ends up being that the person who's asking the question is feeling the guilt of a betrayal that might not even be being judged as a betrayal. Now, if the person who's asking the question is feeling tons of guilt about their perceived betrayal of their twin, then that's probably a reason why they would not want to get deeply into another relationship, because that's a hard thing to shake. If you're feeling guilt, it doesn't tend to just go away. That's something that's internally felt. So if you're not being guilt bombed by your twin, which could be a whole nother different topic. If you're not being guilt bombed by your twin, again, I don't think that I would be too worried about betraying your twin if there's a low chance of a relationship coming along in the near future. Again, enjoy your life.
Yeah. Can I add something?
Yes.
To your betrayal? It just actually made me think of something when you were talking about the twin feeling betrayed. This 12-year relationship that I keep referring to that Rob was in before we came into union, again, if you know our story videos, and if you don't, that's okay. We'll share it here. after we broke up, and I think it was a couple years later that you got into a relationship with her.
No, four-ish.
Okay. I felt completely betrayed. He took me out to dinner and told me he was now dating this woman and that he was smitten by her. And I'd still like, ugh. I felt so betrayed. But guess what? That was my ego that felt betrayed. Now, having seen the growth that he has gone through in this relationship through all the years we were apart, and then this was the relationship that he was ending just as we came into union, I am now eternally grateful for him having that relationship and eternally grateful for this other woman and the work that she and he did together. So even if you're worried that your twin's going to feel betrayed in the moment, that's okay, because that's often their ego that's feeling that. Their soul will understand that the journey is part of the journey, or that the experience is part of the journey, just like my soul is now so grateful for this other woman. So while it's kind and respectful to be concerned that you're betraying this other person, also know that even if they feel that betrayal, it is also part of their growth, part of their lesson, and part of their experience to feel that. And they might not feel that forever, just like I didn't. Now I have nothing but gratitude for this other woman.
Pretty much everybody in a relationship learns and grows somehow or another. So, if a relationship comes along, put on your seatbelt. You're probably going to go on a growth ride.
Yeah, totally. Yep. Now I think there's one more question for this.
One more portion of this.
Oh yes, I like how they asked this last question.
Okay, I'll read it the way it's just exactly the way it's typed. I'm not sure if it's okay to ask this question, and I completely understand if you will skip this question. Guess what? We're not skipping it.
Apparently not. We're reading it.
I was wondering if you could say something about the differences between making love with your twin versus other partners.
I have no problem answering that, but I don't know if I have a huge answer. Do you?
It's an answer. I've got an answer to this, but it's one of these answers that spoken language doesn't portray the meaning of what the thought is.
Oh,
it's
extra intriguing.
It's a thought without words, but just like it's very difficult to express in ways that people who don't have a twin flame connection. If you're trying to explain what a twin flame connection feels like to people who have no concept, you could throw words out there, but you know that they're not going to quite get it the way that you feel it and understand it, because you have that connection. So when it comes to lovemaking, that connection, the way that expression of appreciation for that person that's the best words I can come up with. Expression of appreciation comes through, is also very hard to describe. But if not very many people would call it an expression of appreciation to begin with. So with those with those words in play, understand that it is a far deeper, more cherishable connection. It really is. There's a different connection rather than just call it physical, although it's physical emotional with most connections.
Yeah.
That happen more than once in a stand. Oops. Anyway, but yeah, the twin flame connection when it comes to lovemaking is very much more meaningful.
And not that I at all disagree with that, but I also want to give the other perspective. And I hope this is not disrespectful to you. We've talked about this personally, but I want to share it publicly. just because somebody is not your twin flame, it doesn't mean you can't have a soulful connection when it comes to a physical lovemaking connection. I've had very soulful connections with other, well, not other people, but one other person at least. So it's not to say that the twin flame connection is the be all end all again. Like, I think so many people hang their hat on it's got to be twin flame or nothing kind of thing. And that's not been my experience. Yes, the twin flame is a whole different dynamic. Yes, it's wonderful. I'm not at all saying that. But I'm also not saying that you can't have very powerful, beautiful connections with non-twin flames as well. Definitely it's different with a twin flame in terms of lovemaking, but it's also very beautiful, very powerful with a non-twin flame. You know, if you have a soulmate or somebody that you have a very soulful connection with. So, that's my experience.
Boy, here I go, charging off with English language words, trying to express a thought. When it comes to the twin flame connection, you talked about how other partners could be still a very wonderful connection. But let's look at it this way. You can have a favorite teddy bear that's worth $20. You can have a very favorite diamond ring that's worth $20,000. The two of them are very, very cherished, just in very different ways, and both of them are highly valuable to you. Very, very few things that I could ever think of could ever replace that special style of connection of our twin flame connection when it comes to lovemaking. It's its own brand, and some people would want to call it the diamond ring. Some people would want to call it the favorite teddy bear. But remember, it's all special. Just irreplaceable.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good way to finish it off.
Okay.
See, you're quiet tonight, but you have very powerful things to say.
Yeah, that's it's hard to gather together words sometimes to express a feeling like this.
Yes, it is.
It's such a challenging question.
Yes.
How we do it? Oh, wow.
We're at 52.
52.
I think we can do that one. Or do you want to do the...
Do we do the long question that might have the short answer? Do we do the short question that might have the long answer? Okay. Let's try the shorter.
Oh, okay.
The shorter question, interestingly, with the bigger font.
Oh. Is it? I try to keep in the same font, but yeah, might
Yep.
be.
Okay.
All right.
Here we go.
Technology.
How much of the TF journey do you guys believe is pre-decided?
Oh, this
Oh boy,
this
see,
might
I picked the wrong question. Wrong
Wrong
question. Are there fixed points, or is most of it dependent upon the individual growth of both the twins? See, that question right there almost answers the first question, but I might have to explain why. For your example, your breakthrough on the date 11/11, do you think that was predestined, or was it more like a portal of opportunity opening and you were both aligned enough so that you could be in harmonies at the same time? How much of the TF journey do you guys believe is pre-decided? I believe that life is a journey like a giant leafy tree, full of branches, and you never know where you're going to live your life and where you're going to pop out at the end of your life at what part of the tree.
You haven't come up with a good analogy in a while like that one. Wow.
So
That's
is it
a good visual?
So is it pre-decided? A lot of hey, you might be on one tree, but there's many branches.
Or the way I equate it is, because we climb mountains, there's many pathways up the same mountain. So you might still get there, but how do you get there? You can take totally different paths, you can take the same path. There's many different ways. Do you have more to say before I dive in?
I was going to go on to the next part of the question.
Okay, go ahead.
No, but you can dive in first.
Fine.
Because I'll get on to the next part of the question, and then you'll never get a word in edgewise.
Okay. Oh, now you're going to start talking.
All of a sudden,
The end of the video. Now he's going to go at it.
See, started the video right after supper, so now I've had my after supper nap. I'm now waking up again.
Got it. Okay. I believe it's a balance of both. Like people often say, what's the word? Destiny versus free will. That's kind of not this question, but sort of this question. And I believe it's both. I do definitely believe that our one soul in two bodies makes a plan before it gets here, but it doesn't plan out every single tiny road. It's kind of like Rob's talking about the trees and the branches, or my analogy of the mountain. It doesn't plan out every single little pathway, every choice you're going to make, every experience you're going to have. It just plans out the overall picture, the whole, the main gist of things. And how you get there is not predetermined. But I also believe not getting there or getting there is also not predetermined. Again, if I can find the video, I'll link it. But somewhere in the beginning of our story videos, I was reading my journal where, if you remember, if you've watched our videos and know kind of our story, my angels used to channel, before we knew anything about being twin flames and having this unique connection, they would tell me that we had a purpose and that we had a mission, and they used those specific words. And then years later, when we broke up, and I thought, like, I didn't know we would come back together at some point in our life, I was devastated, and I said to my angels, like, what the hell? Go ahead, bleep me.
Bleep.
You lied to me. And they said, no, it's just that he has the choice, and right now he's chosen another path. He might come back at some point, but if he doesn't, you will be given another partner to do your mission. You will still carry out your mission because your soul has committed to that. Your one soul in two bodies has still committed to that. But the other body, even though they have their own piece of the soul, so to say, they can choose a different journey. It's, in my opinion, rare, because if they've committed to that, they're going to be pretty much held to that. But sometimes people don't. Sometimes once they get here, they're like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. The journey might be too hard. They might just fall off the path. They might just ignore their soul. Who knows? We don't know everybody's journey and everybody's experience. But I have seen where it is not predestined, because what you think is what you committed to do doesn't happen. But it doesn't mean your part doesn't have to happen, or your twins doesn't have to happen if you choose not to follow through with your part of the journey.
This question could become an entire video all on its own.
We say that a lot, but yes, it could.
It really could.
So what's the second piece?
Are there fixed points?
Oh, right.
Or is most of it dependent upon individual growth of both twins? I think the growth offers the opportunity to cross fixed points. I think there's many fixed points on the journey.
Yes.
But, if you climb up one set of branches, you might find the fixed points are earlier on going up the branch, which could relate to earlier on in life, where if you climb a different branch, those fixed points might be further along, might be later on in life, just as one of many examples of the ways of looking at it. So yes, the individual growth, I think the individual growth can make a difference to the point that if growth is slow in any particular incarnation, the chances of getting together with your twin is much lower. But if the growth for yourself and your twin just happens to hit a time where there's a ton of it in any particular incarnation, it may offer up the opportunity, we'll call it chance, of getting together to be far more likely. So fixed points of decisions that could be made, fixed points of where your destiny for a particular incarnation could change. I think they're all ahead of you. It's whether or not you're pinballing through life, whether or not you cross one of them, or many of them.
Yeah, I definitely think it's both. I think there are some fixed points, but I think those are rare. I think they're what I've read in some books are called mile markers, where this is a spot you can reach, and if you reach it, great, but if you don't, it's not like it's your only chance. There's going to be other opportunities and other merge points where you can try again. Like, it's not like union, there's only one opportunity, and if you blow it, that's it, right? There's many, and some people make it on the first try, some people make it on the 20th try. It doesn't matter. You make it when you're ready, when you've done enough of the growth that you can hold that union energy not only within yourself, but as a couple as well. Like they gave the example of our 11:11.
Yeah, I want to comment on that too, but you're first.
So again, if you don't know our story, our union sort of officially started on November 11th in 2014? 14. Yeah. The years start to blur together after a while. So I had told Rob we were twin flames on November 8th.
8th.
And he awoke to the connection on November 11th, and he was just exploding with knowledge. I'd been studying this journey very in depth for a year and a half, and in 3 days he knew more than I did in a year and a half of like reading and studying, and he hadn't read a single thing. He just totally, his soul was just ready, and he awoke. So that was like a mile marker. That was a portal of energy where it was a potential to come together. Now, we could have come together and then not been ready and had to split apart and do it again. Like, so it might have been like this and then like this and like this, right? So there's not like one spot where you can come together, and if you miss it, too bad, you lost your chance. Not at all. You get opportunity after opportunity.
You know, when it comes to the date, November 11th. Okay. Sometimes you just have to pay attention to those little clues, those gigantic clues that get thrown at you as to what's really going on in your life. But if awakening would have happened on February 22nd, that would have been 222. It would have been,
which is another portal, right?
Another portal, sure. Yeah. Or if,
which, by the way, I wanted to do a video on, but we had too much going on in our lives.
Or if it happened on one of our birthdays, or maybe your favorite aunt's uncle's anniversary. You know, you can always find a reason for a date to make sense.
Right.
Yeah, even if it was like July. Let's choose July 4th. That's 7 plus 4, which would still be an 11. But the thought that it happened on 11/11, that was pretty big. That I probably in the background, once I had it explained to me what 11/11 was, because I had no idea on that either. That was probably chosen as a big enough wake up bat. You know, get batted over the head. You go, oh, that's what's going on.
Yeah, you didn't have a wake up call. You had a wake up bat.
I had a wake up bat. So when I finally had it explained to me that of all days in the year, 11/11, and this is why, it probably needed to be that big just to keep my growth and understanding and respect for the journey going for that moment. I don't need to have it explained to me anymore. It's all good. It's got a happy place, but yeah, that's pretty amazing. To say it for the second time this video, you just sometimes can't make this stuff up. It just happens.
Yeah.
Was
Is there
that
anything else to that? I think that's all.
you talking about being aligned enough that you could see the harmonies at that time? One word, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, might have to circle that and turn it into a video.
Oh, we didn't do too bad.
Time is great.
Yeah.
Our time is right on the mark. Whoever Mark is. I'm in fine form tonight.
It's time to put Rob to bed. Dear Lord. Okay, so we made it through the month with a question and answer video. I feel very happy about that. Now I still have to get it up. I have an hour to get it uploaded and
That's usually
add all the
no, I can't say that.
blurbs. And,
Yeah.
Wish me luck.
She'll get it done.
Yes, I will.
She's good at this.
Yes.
If she left it up to me, it would be about this time next month.
Next year. You
Year.
don't really know how to do this.
I don't know how to do
At
this.
least not much with computers, so.
No, I get
okay.
I get near computers and they sometimes don't work very well.
He takes care of cars. I'll take care of computers.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, before we go on the whole tangent that you're so good at.
Oh, well, one final thing. Going right back to the beginning.
Oh no.
Flames are orange. I have to wear orange next time.
Good night.
Have a good night.
We love you guys. See you next month. Bye.
Bye.